Tim Saunders with Chris Therien at Skate Zone in Voorhees. And this summer week, we're looking at some of the changes that the Flyers have made as they prepare for another training camp. Bundy, obviously, it's going to be a different team, but the names that come to Philadelphia by way of free agency really are going to be some nice additions, not the least of which is Jaromir Jagr, who you know about as well as anybody.
Yeah, I know him pretty well. He's a dynamic player. He comes over to him the first day of free agency right after the Richards and Carter trade. Ville Leino, the Flyers, he's really going to be the guy that they signed in favor of Ville Leino because Leino got huge money in Buffalo. Flyers were not able to fit him in under their salary structure. So they ended up getting Jagr. It was one of those last-minute things where Paul Holmgren called his agent, Peter Svoboda, said, any interest in playing in Philly? He said, yeah, there is some. And sure enough, he was signed on the first day. Jagr's a guy that's going to bring a real presence. He is a unique talent. He had a tremendous world championship at the end of the year, competing and playing hard against some of the best players in the world. I thought a couple of years ago in the Olympics he got hit real hard by Ovechkin, and it kind of looked like perhaps the end of Jaromir Jagr. That's not the case. He had a really good year in the KHL, and the World Championships is really kind of a sign of where he's at in his games. 39 years old, is not getting any younger. I think the real challenge is number one, how is Peter Laviolette going to use him? Where is he going to use him? Right now, in my own, I envision him playing with a guy like Giroux. If they feel he's up to par, he's got to reacclimate himself to the National Hockey League. The rink is smaller. Of course, he knows the game inside out over here. He's played here a long time. More physical than probably he's seen back in Russia. Secondly, can he stay injury-free for the better part of the season? It's going to be a real challenge at 39, out of this league for 3 years. That, to me, is going to be kind of paramount in terms of where he's at. But certainly, yes, compared to the players, at Ville Leino we lost, nothing against Ville. Jagr adds more pop, and I think there's no question. The third thing he's going to be tremendous on, he's still going to kind of wow and awe people out of their seats, is what he does on the power play. He's a tremendous talent, opens up the ice. He's going to gain a lot of respect with that puck possession. The Flyers' power play will be better with Jaromir Jagr on the ice.
A five-time Art Ross Trophy winner is the scoring leader in the National Hockey League. His strength is his ability to hang on to the puck and create offense, and he's got that big body. He's hard to take off the puck. That'll be a big help here.
Really, really good. Good point by you, Tim. The way he holds onto the puck, he faces a board with the puck. I remember defending against him, and he's able to keep his head on a swivel. He knows exactly where his teammates are, where the defense is set up. He can find players, and more importantly, he's a guy that's got such great size, such good puck skills with his hands, he can pull the puck to the net himself. He's a guy, I guess when I look at him right now, the biggest question for me is how is he going to handle the physical part of the game early? And that's the biggest part when you say the handling in the corners, being physical with that puck. Those are the gifts he's had with that talent. Can he get back to that and do it early in the season so they know exactly where they want to piece him in? He's got some good centermen here to play with, guys that will be able to find a way to get him the puck.
He's going to be one of those guys that they count on to replace the offense lost in Richards and Carter. But one of the other primary targets for the Flyers as they went into free agency is another former Pittsburgh Penguin, Max Talbot, and he's going to bring some grit to this team.
Grit, energy. He's a guy, Tim, when I go back, I think 3 years ago to Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, Flyers had a 3-0 lead in Game 6, ready to go back to Pittsburgh for Game 7. Talbot initiates a fight with Dan Carcillo. Gloves come off, probably fight to a draw, but he sparked the Pittsburgh Penguins with that. He's that kind of a guy. Let's not forget that year, 2 goals in Game 7 and a 2-1 victory over Detroit in the Stanley Cup Final. Pretty impressive stuff. He's a guy that will lay in front of pucks to block him. He's a lot like Ian LaPerriere. He does not have a Masterson trophy behind him yet, but I'll tell you what, he is one of those guys that's a great team guy. You haven't heard a bad word about him. You hate to play against him. You love him on your team. Really good acquisition. He'll be one of those guys quietly we'll talk about during the year, but he's going to be a guy that's going to be really, really pivotal for what this team wants to do with their grit.
Real quick, the other addition, the Flyers' strength at the blue line continues. They lose Sean O'Donnell, but have a younger version in Andreas Lilja.
Yeah, a big guy. He's able to play good one-on-one defense. He holds the line. He moves the puck pretty well. I think that's a pretty good way of putting it. Maybe a few years younger than Sean O'Donnell. You're not going to get a lot of offense from him. He's not here for that, but certainly a guy that they could fit in well as a 7th defenseman. He's never going to hurt you. He's going to go out and do his job, and he's had long playoff runs in the past.
The season of change is just around the corner, and this week we're looking at all facets of the Flyers' change in philosophy, as it were, this summer. With Chris Therien, I'm Tim Saunders at Skate Zone in Voorhees.